Hello, I'm Michael Redmond, professional Go player. In this video, I'm going to introduce you to a proverb which will help you choose which side to cover when your opponent has invaded through 3-point. We used to have a number of proverbs about which side to cover, and with the arrival of AIs, superhuman computer programs, it has become a bit more ambiguous. So there are many cases where it doesn't seem to matter which side you cover. But I have found a proverb that works almost all of the time. So this position here is actually a position from a previous video called Leave Room for an Extension. And in that video, as I was reviewing the opening before coming to the point of the video, I mentioned that white seemed to cover on the wrong side here. So this was the move that white played in that example. And I said white is covered on the wrong side, and I will discuss that in a separate video. So that's what this is. Just to show you how that video proceeded, it proceeded like this, and the subject of that video was to leave room for an extension. So that's what this black move is. Black is leaving room for an extension on the third line on either side of this stone. So if anyone wants to see that video, if you haven't seen it yet, or you want to review it, I will leave links. So there's going to be a link in this video and in the description, maybe in the comments also. It's a good video, though I say it myself. So you should be looking at that one also. And at this point, the correct move for white is to cover on the side with a Kakari. So this is a case where there's only one black Kakari stone from the viewpoint of white. There's a black stone at C6. So let's mark it. So it's this black stone that is relevant. And white wants to cover on the side of that black stone. It's a case where white has played a pincer. So that's the necessary ingredients here. You've played a pincer and you're going to cover splitting the two black stones. So you can just focus on that one black stone at C6. You're going to cover in between the 3-3 invasion, cutting off the approach move at the C6. So a Kakari is an approach move, in case that wasn't clear. And the following moves will be like this. This is the standard Joseki for this case. And in this board position, white will probably continue to expand the left side. So white can play here. Something like this. So this would be possible. Any move on the left side would be reasonable. So for instance, white could also think of just playing a simple extension. And that would be somewhere around here. An extension around here would also be a reasonable move. White does want to expand towards the upper left area. So it's one of these two choices. This is the more active way of playing, taking advantage of the fact that black's knight corner enclosure, these two moves, this is a very tight enclosure. And it means that since the corner is a black territory already, it's okay for white to play an attachment and make it more solid because it was a territory to start with. So that's what the sequence here is. It's not really directly relevant to the video, but it's just an addition. So for one thing, white has stopped this stone from developing. So black's not going to make a territory based on that stone, potentially wasting one of the black stones. So Go is a game where you just put stones on the board and they stay where you put them. So it's the idea of having moves being efficient or being nullified, as you might say, or becoming less efficient is very important. So in this case, that black stone is potentially losing its importance. Eventually, it might become a part of a white territory, in which case it would be, in a way you could say it was a wasted move. So that's what the whole idea is for white. Now I'll go on to another example that I made for this video. And here we have another position where white has invaded the 3-3 point. So now we're talking about the upper right corner. So it is the same position where white has invaded the 3-3 point, and it's a good idea for black to cover on this side, separating the white invasion at the 3-3 point with the stone on the left. And it's working very well in the overall position also. Let's just take a quick look at the opening. This is a point where instead of this move, It would also be feasible for black to be playing pressing here. This is a very popular move with our AIs. Black could play that and continue on the top side, or move back to the lower side. Continuing to push here is another option that black has. So this would also have been a game, but in this example, black is extending here. And we come to this position. So in this position is a relatively easy to understand example of this, where if black covers on the wrong side, it will be bad for black. So the idea here is that black should cover on the side with a Kakari. So that's the white stone here is the approach move, which is also called a Kakari. And cutting that stone off in itself is valuable. It also works with the surrounding black stone. So black is building a position here on the top and gets Sente because white has to jump out here. And with Sente, black can, for instance, play something like this to start to expand the lower side. Otherwise, if black wanted to, black could enter the left side would be a good point to play also. So for instance, something like this, or maybe somewhere around here. Somewhere on the left side would also be a big move. This would be, the idea would be that black is starting to build on the bottom. So I like this move. Just expanding like this would be an idea. Take a quick look at the wrong answer here. So when black plays here, the problem is that it's not really working to make an area that black controls. So part of the problem is that there is no black stone on the right side. And in fact, it's already reduced by the white stones that we have in the lower right. So at this point, white would be able to play away. Black has made a wall which is exerting influence in this direction. So generally, black would want to be building a moyo, or an area, sphere of influence maybe. Maybe the side attached to it would be around here, and it would be spreading out into the center of the board. Well, black has control of the center, but there's not a side that's really worth it. So the fact that white already has a stable position here on the right reduces the potential that black has. And so although black does have a point to extend here, it's not as much space as black would want. One might imagine that black would wish that this white stone could be traded with some other black stone. So that's obviously not allowed in rules. But if we imagine, for instance, a black stone at the same point, it would be ideal. So in this case, black would have a stone dominating the side, and it would be possible to play this way. So there are some exceptions to the rule, but in the great majority of the cases, it's better to cover on the side where there's a cover. So I would say that just following this rule, most of the time it's going to be better than covering on the wrong side. And in some positions where it's a bit more ambiguous, it's going to be about equal. So it's going to be a very subtle difference, even when it's not the best move. So just to go through this sequence once more. This is the standard joseki. It works very well with the one space pincer, but also with any other pincer. So that was my video about cover on the side with a Kakari. And it's the one Go proverb about covering on which side when white has invaded the 3-3 point that I think is still valid. So thank you for watching. And that's it for this time. There will be more videos like this. And so sign up to my channel and keep watching. Thank you.